Hey there, if you've spent some time with Google Analytics 4, you've probably discovered that it's not the best visual storyteller, nor is it super easy to dive into metrics if you have certain questions. So part of GA4 that a lot of people don't realize and don't use enough is the Explore product. So we're going to take a look at Explore, which can help you answer questions and build simple reports. Now, I will give a caveat. Explore is not a data visualization tool, and there are some definite limitations. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go through it. But for instance, you only have 14 months of information if you've set it to the maximum that Google lets you set it to. Otherwise, the default is 2 months. So if you're trying to do year-over-year reporting, this isn't going to be the tool for you, but it will help you answer some questions. It'll help you look at your data in a little bit different way, other than what you get as the standard out-of-the-box reports in GA4. So let's go ahead and take a look at Explore and we'll walk through it. All right, so you can see we have the Explore dashboard here in Analytics. You'd start out with your homepage area, and then Explore is right here, and you click on that to explore. We are looking at Google's default data that comes with its merchant store. So it's sample data. It is not real client data. So in Explore, you have out of the box a couple of different options. So you have the freeform report, which we'll take a look at, funnel exploration, which is exactly what you think it was. It's the funnels that you can build to see how people are going, for instance, through your shopping cart. It is path exploration, which helps you understand where people are going once they come to your site. So if they land on a landing page, what are they doing after that? How are they behaving on the site? And then there's the segment overlap, which is super cool as well. And then the cohort exploration. Cohort tells you, from the first time a user visits, where are they dropping off? What are they doing? How long are they coming back to the site? That kind of thing. User lifetime. This is, lifetime value if you're an e-commerce site. So how much value does that person have during a given period of time? How much are they spending? This is great information if you're running marketing programs and you're spending X amount to acquire a new customer. Well, how much is that customer spending over their lifetime, their typical lifetime? And is it worth it? Are you losing money to acquire them, or are they coming back and doing something else? There's also a template gallery here that you can see use cases. So acquisition, key events, user behavior, predictive metrics, which is kind of interesting. And then also you can break it down by industries like e-commerce, gaming, etc. So these will have certain built-in models for you for the template. So we're going to take a look at a couple of different ones here. Let's start with freeform. This is just your standard information. It already is going to put in some stuff for you. So let's walk through what you're seeing here. So you can see that here's your date range. You can choose that to be whatever you want it to be. Yeah, basically going back only 14 months. But you can go back 90 days, 12 months, 28 days, whatever, build a custom date. We'll stick with the 28. You can build out segments, and we'll dive into these a little bit more too. These segments can be anything from about the user, so where they are, their gender, their behavior, that kind of thing, but also their marketing channels, where they come from. And I find that I tend to use the marketing channels more to see how, not just somebody's gender or something like that, but somebody coming from paid search, what are they doing? Somebody coming from organic, what are they doing? How are they behaving on the site? How are they performing as far as returning sales and that kind of stuff? That to me is more interesting, and we tend to use that a lot. But you can also get information about their devices that they're using, whether it's mobile, that kind of stuff. So these segments you can keep in here, or you can create your own. We'll show you how to do that in just a second. Dimensions are those business needs that you want to report on. So again, it could be, where they're coming from a marketing platform, or where they're coming from a city. Geographically, you can learn more about your customer there. And then the metrics are the data points that you want to know about these dimensions. So users, event counts, transactions, revenue, that kind of stuff, those would all be your metrics. So once you have these selected, you can either drag them over. So you can see they have city here. You can also put in country. That will change this table. And you can remove them at any point. You can also add, select how many rows you want to show. And you can also then change the columns if you want, and then the metrics. So they have active users. Maybe you want to add something different there. So I'm going to remove these and start from scratch. Okay. Oh, and there's also filters here, by the way, which we can, I'll show you that in a second too. This can also, the default is a table. It could also be charts, geographic map, or a bar chart. So those are the different styles that you can use. And then these are the different templates, the built-in ones that you saw at the beginning. You can choose and change these right here. You can also create a new tab to do a different exploration of the same data here. So, all right, so in this case, I want to look at first user media. Let's throw that in here. Actually, let's choose a new one. Let's choose landing page. I'm going to import that. So we have the landing pages. I don't care about the device category. Maybe I want sessions. Maybe I want users. To look users. Okay, and this will show you, you'll see these are grayed out. For instance, if there's something here that you can't pull into this report because of the data that you're looking at, you're not able to select it. So this will show you an entire list of stuff that you select. But the warning is that they still don't necessarily then allow you to add it to the report if it is a metric that's not kosher with that report. All right, so we have the landing page query, and I want to look at the number of sessions per landing page. And I also want to, that's an interesting landing page query. Want to look at the total users for those people. Now we could also look at revenue, I believe, for this one. Purchase revenue. And double clicked on it, and so these pages are not shown. Here's some pages with revenue. So you can see the landing pages that have generated revenue. You can then go through and make this even more broken down. So you could, for instance, filter this by a segment. So you could create a segment that is just looking at paid traffic. So those landing pages that people are just coming to from paid traffic. You could also create a segment for organic or whatever other information you want. So for paid traffic, now we have a quick report that we can see, where people are landing and the revenue. And so we can sort this by purchase revenue. And apparently nobody's buying anything from their paid revenue. We can also then look at, let's say, direct traffic and see if that's any different. Well, we have some here for direct. So you can see, you can go in and eliminate those. Like I said, you could also choose a different graph type if you wanted. For this one, that wouldn't really work necessarily. But you can go through and customize this however you want. And then you can even build filters to look at certain things. So maybe it's only certain search terms that you want, for instance, or certain keywords, that kind of thing, or events. If you have an event name in here, you can search by certain events so that you can add that to your reports. So this can be very flexible. You can also, go in and add other types of stuff that you may want to poke around in. So let's look at, for instance, the actual page title. Let's import that. So instead of the landing page, we just want to look at pages. So the actual page title is sometimes easier to look at. And so now we have that existing data in here that was the sessions, users, and purchase revenue. And so we can see which pages are generating more revenue, which are getting more searches. And then you can poke around in that data. Now you can, like I said, you could make this a chart if you wanted to. This would be a very difficult chart to consume, but you can very quickly see which ones are the biggest, which are driving the most traffic. And you can also share this. So right now, if you go back to the Explore page, you will see this as a list of reports that you've created, but nobody else is going to see it unless you've shared it with them. So you can share this report. That doesn't mean that they can edit it. It just means that you can share this with them. So they can go into the Explore and they'll see that you've created this report, and they can take a look at it. This can also be exported, which again, there is a limitation to the amount of data that you can export from this. So this isn't always going to be all of the data that Google is seeing. There is a cutoff, which I don't remember the cutoff. I will share that with you. We'll pop that up on the screen and we'll show it in the description. So this is the main table kind of exploring section of it that most people are going to use. Like I said, you can get very specific with your metrics. You can build different comparisons and segments. One thing that this is useful for when building the segments, and I believe we've covered this in a previous video, and if we have, I'll link to that as well, where we go to it more in depth. But when you're building a segment, so say you want to build something that is about where they're coming from, right? So their source medium or something like that. Okay. Let's call it first user. I think so. You can see there's a lot of different selections here. Let's narrow it down to medium. First user medium. Okay. So I can add that filter and I can say it equals, and then choose from one of these here. So maybe I want email. Okay. This is going to show you the amount of people in that audience, in that segment, and I can build an audience with it. And the nice thing about building an audience with this is that I can now see that there's data in here. I can choose that as an audience that I can then pull in that audience to target people using GA4 data in your Google Ads. So if I wanted to set up a remarketing campaign, I can do that for specific audiences. Or if I just want to be able to see how a certain audience performs, I can use that audience in the reporting to say, hey, I want to consistently see how this audience performs. I can give it a name, I can give it a description, and then I can always look at them in the future. So as that changes. Now you can add other criteria here too. So maybe if it's certain email, but I wanted to add like a gender or geo, maybe I want a city, and I'm going to add, certain criteria. So I want to say only people from New York, or something like that. Maybe I only want a certain gender, or people that only haven't purchased. So maybe it's, non-purchasers, or first-time users, or, if they've gone to a specific page on the site. I can build an audience then for those people and target them and save that as a segment, which I can then use in this reporting. So I can see exactly what they're doing and then use that audience in marketing efforts going forward. So you can get pretty complex and sophisticated with it if you like. Now, a couple of the other things that we can do. Oh, and then the other thing you want to do, I forgot, is if you're doing this, it's name it, right? So this one, you could just call it landing page tests. You can name it whatever you like in yours. It is up to you, whatever makes sense. And then that will save that in the Explore section. You can see right here. So we now have landing page test. It says when I set it up, and you can delete it, rename it, share it, that kind of thing. The share on this is grayed out because this is Google's, so I don't have admin access. So let me show you a couple of these other ones. Funnel exploration is what you'd think it sounds like. So you can set this up to first visit, to the session start, to whatever you like. So you can see these are pre-populated with sample ones here, the steps. I can switch these around. So I can say I want session start and see what happens after that. Again, you can experiment with these. You can do it by device category or other criteria that you want, however you want to break that down. It could be, for instance, instead of device category, maybe it's country. And it's going to show me the different steps for the different countries. So you can see, there's India in here, Canada, that type of thing. So each of these steps will then be broken down by that breakdown that I have there. So that's funnel. That will help you understand how people are going through the site. Path exploration, like we said, this will show you specific landing pages and stuff or events that happened. So if you want a session start, or if you want to change this to be, for instance, a certain page that they land on, that kind of thing, screen name, screen page title, you can do that and understand how people are flowing through the site. One of the common things that we do is look at what people are searching for on the site. So in this case, we built out this sample on-site search terms. So these are search terms that are being used on the site, and we set that up as a dimension here. Okay. And then event name and the event counts. This is how many times they're doing it, right? And so we have the search term, and then we put in a filter so that the event name matches view search results. So this is how many people went to the view search results event, right? So where they actually completed an on-site search. And so this is showing us the search term that they used, and then the very few people in this test data that's actually doing that. And so this will tell you, like on your site, if you had a lot of people doing searches, like say you're a retail site and people are searching for certain products, this will help you do that. You can also add other metrics to this and explore how people are using those terms and what's going on with them. That will also help. We use that, for instance, for SEO and paid search. Maybe we'll glean some terms that people are using on the site that we're not actually actively marketing for, and that will help us do that. We can also see if certain people are searching for certain products in very high numbers. Maybe we need to feature those products and push them farther up on the page or on the home page. So that is one thing that you can do. And then the other is, which is really kind of an interesting look at how your users behave, is segment overlap. And so you can create these different segments, and you can see they have some baked in ones as far as like mobile traffic or tablet traffic, the specific ages. So you can build these out. You can create a segment based on certain ages or genders. And but what I find more interesting is actually what marketing channels people are using. So what crossover is there between those marketing channels? And you can see here, direct traffic is a very large portion of the traffic for this site. Organic is the next, and then paid is very small. But there is an overlap here, and it shows you how many active users in this case, because that's what we're looking at, were from both channels. So how many actually came from direct and used organic? And you can see that down here. You can see, if we break up these rows, the different patterns that people take, which channels they interact with, right? So did they interact with your direct or organic or paid? Did they interact with display or email? All of that is really good information because you can start to understand the customer journey a little bit more. Which channels are they coming from? Which overlap? We have, for instance, in the past had clients where, they may think that, say, display or paid search isn't really working for them, that they're spending a lot of money. But if you really look at the path, and there's a lot of overlap, and they're using multiple channels at the same time, as they're part of their journey. If you eliminate one of those channels, you may be eliminating those customers because they were using multiple channels. And maybe that one time that they saw you, that last time, was the time that they came and purchased. And if you had eliminated that channel, you wouldn't have that customer. So it is important to see how they overlap. Now, there are times when these channels don't overlap at all. So maybe you have a really strong email program, and it's obviously not an acquisition channel. So maybe your acquisition channel is really big. You're paying a lot of money on paid search. Those email customers are not necessarily going to use paid search to get back to your site. They're using the email. So once they become an established customer, they may not be using those acquisition channels anymore. It's important to know so that you can see how they're behaving. So anyway, you can do that here. I could also put in other, types of metrics here to see what the overlap is. And so just for the sake of doing it, let's see tablet traffic and mobile traffic. You can see that people who are using mobile are probably not very often using the tablet. So there's only the 6 crossover for these guys on that. And so those are pretty separate audiences. They behave differently, and that's also good to know. But so you can play around with this and try to understand the different segments and how they're interacting and how they're using your website. Let's go back to Explore real quick. And just to show you, so this is a list of all the different explorations that people are using. Again, this is on the Google site, so it's not real life data, but you can see what people are doing. There is also what we didn't touch on as blank, which is just like that free form one. It just doesn't pre-populate it with data. And so it gives you the opportunity to start from scratch and build this out as you want to build it, with adding dimensions. And you can just go down through and see the predefined dimensions, attribution. So you could say, for instance, I want a source medium, and I want, let's just look at purchases. And then I can double click those. Oh, it didn't like purchases for source medium on this one for some reason. Good revenue, maybe? There we go. And so this would be a quick and easy way to build that out. And then you can drill down from here. So now maybe I can say, okay, well, I have source medium. Maybe I want to only look at that for a certain segment. So I could say I will only want it for people that are coming from mobile, or I only want women over 45, or whatever that segment is that you want to build. You can start to look at then how they behave. And so you can build out separate audiences and understand what channels they're coming from, what they're clicking through, and the revenue they're driving. So this will help you with that. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is not a data visualization tool. As you can see, like if I choose any of these any of these other chart forms, they're not the best, right? There's very limited amount of graphic interface that you can do or control over it. And so, it's definitely not a visualization tool. It's just to help answer some questions or help build out segments and understand user behavior a little bit better. If you're looking for a data visualization tool, definitely go use Looker Studio instead. It's free, at least for the time being. And you can pull in all the same data and create many of the same reports in Looker. It's just more of a dashboard. It's not as easy to make little quick changes to it as you're trying to explore the data. So once you have a data in mind from using Explore, you can go create that and create better visualizations and charts and whatnot in Looker that you can then share with your team, and it's going to be a little bit prettier to look at. This is not that tool, for it's on a Tableau, it's on anything like that. And frankly, other analytics tools like Adobe Analytics have much more powerful, research tools like this that will help you dig into the data and stuff. This is kind of a okay tool. So much like things with GA4 in general, it's okay. It creates a lot of frustration for people, but it is better than nothing, and it's free. So it can help you answer some questions. If you have stuff that you're using Explore for that you'd like to share, please leave those in the comments. We're always looking for things that people are doing. If you have questions, let us know. If you need help with your Google Analytics, also reach out and contact us. Our agency helps companies all across the world set up and implement Google Analytics, helps them answer questions about their marketing, helps them manage their marketing. So if you need that assistance, let us know. We're happy to help, and have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Talk to you. Bye.